WCLU news coverage of the 2022 primary election is brought to you in part by Walbert Trucking in Glasgow. Are you looking for a new career where you'll be a part of a family-owned business for over 50 years? Walbert Trucking is a trucking company based right here in Glasgow. With Walbert Trucking, you'll get full benefits, great pay, and 401k. And you'll be home daily. Unlimited possibilities await you. Apply today and become a member of the Walbert Trucking team. 106 Sean Lane in Glasgow, 651-6784.
Well, welcome to today's program, Dr. Troy Robertson. We're glad to have you here at our election 2022 coverage at WCLU. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good deal. So we talked to a number of candidates. We're continuing to talk to candidates, and we're really trying to get the scoop, if you will, on what's going on with everybody's ideology and trying to see why you're running. So you'll be running this go-around for District 5 on the Republican side of things. In the May primary. So let's first talk a little bit about who you are as a person, Mr. Robertson.
Sure. And that's the number one question anybody asks me in this county, because people don't generally understand what I do. I've done a lot of things. I started out as a young man working in industry in our area. Started as a tool maker and worked from that into engineering. And then from engineering, I taught in engineering at WKU. And since then, I finished a doctorate. And so with that, with the engineering background, I usually coach now. Most of my time is spent working with coaching clients. Executive coach is what my title is, but I work for myself. So, but I also own a shop here. It's called Journeyman Tool and Design. And that's mostly consists of other contract workers. We come together on specific projects, or myself if I'm hired out to do anything specific within an industry. So, but most of my time is taken up with coaching clients and that sort of thing, and taking care of my kids, because we have 4 foster kids. So
right. So you stay pretty busy, it sounds like.
I enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah, doing a number of things. And so obviously, thinking about going toward being a magistrate in the county, adding on to those responsibilities, District 5 specifically. When we talk about District 5. Obviously, you don't have to necessarily disclose where you are in the district, but what are some big things going on in District 5 that you're interested in maybe in the next 4 years?
Well, obviously there's industry coming in. They built an industrial park that's being dozed and flattened, and all that started right at the edge of Glasgow as we go into town. So I'm very interested in what's happening there and what type of businesses are going to come into that area and that sort of thing. So I think we've had in our past, and I've worked for many of them, industries that come in and work our people to death and leave. And I would like to see industries that want to be a part of our community. Industries that come in and offer child care or offer things that help our community work and help our community come together, not necessarily just come to work, go home, and go to bed. We need more industry to help us with jobs that people want to do, so that sort of thing.
We've heard about industry recruitment for a number of years here. In the last 4, so obviously you're a newcomer to the political scene here in Barren County as far as running for this particular office and everything. But we've heard about that a lot. Industry recruitment, let's retain businesses, things like that. And we seem to, in the headlines, we seem to see more leaving than we do coming. In District 5 specifically, we could get into, the industrial park, but let's just be fair to say the whole county, the fiscal court has a huge role in their responsibility in that industry recruitment. And we've talked a little bit about the relationship that both bodies in the city, Glasgow City Council, Barren County Fiscal Court, even the Cave City Council, the Park City Commission, everyone really has to work together.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about working together, and have we done a good job at that?
Obviously not, because we're not winning that battle. We're not winning that battle. So do I know all the issues and all the ins and outs? No, because I don't know what happens behind the counter. I'll learn a little bit of that if elected. I will be the one to dig in and figure out where the roadblocks are. Can I take them down? I can't promise that. I have to find out what they are before we can do anything about them. But obviously we got to work together better. There's some interests from, and I don't know what they are. I can't, speculate what interests may be that stop some things. but obviously something does. And so we need to work on, we have a workforce here. We've always had a workforce here. We have hardworking people in our county, and we need to supply them with something to do.
Right. When we talk about, you mentioned you're an owner of a business, you've overseen this business, obviously, have a number of other tasks that you're responsible for. The management of money is a huge responsibility of the fiscal court, hence the name. But money has to be spent, obviously, in order to get some return. Sometimes we see some on the Republican side, there's a conservatism that exists there, trying to spare money maybe for that rainy day fund. What's your position on, how we should be spending money? Should we just invest in things that, we at the first opportunity, or should we wait? What's your position on that?
I mean, the first thing I see when I think about how we're spending money is I'm curious how we're investing in keeping the students that are coming out of our schools, because we have schools that can create an even better workforce. And so what are we doing to invest money to make sure that stays? What training programs are we making sure exist or get created, or those sorts of things? I taught in engineering, so I saw students come into Western. They would try to live and stay in Bowling Green or live and stay in these few counties around us, but they couldn't. They'd
Right.
get up and leave.
Right.
They'd get a great education, we teach them how to be engineers, and they'd leave. And so there has to be a bridging gap between our local students and how we help them get into these jobs. And so finding ways to spend more of our dollars on keeping our people local, I mean, ultimately is going to create more dollars to be here.
Sure.
So,
Do you feel like, because like you said, being on the outside, sometimes it's easy to try to say, well, I would have done this or that. And so to be fair, to the folks that are in these positions right now, impartial across the board, we have to understand that there are sometimes limitations that exist. But all in all, do you feel like, from a fiscal court standpoint, are you sitting back watching these meetings and saying, man, we could have done something better there? Are you consistently doing that? Or are you, how do you feel about those things?
so I started attending meetings in November once I was contemplating being sure that I was going to do this.
Right.
Because I ultimately feel like this is a role to serve our community. I don't feel like this is any major benefit to me. There are a lot of other things I could do to have an income or supply what my family needs. But I started in November sitting in the meetings and watching things, and the thing that bothers me the most is the lack of information across the board, and I don't know why that's not there. I don't know if we're not doing the footwork to put that behind the decisions that are made. I don't know if things are just kind of shot out at the last minute and they have to make decisions. But those are the kind of things I'm going to push back on. We need information, we need it as soon as we can get it, and we need more of it to make better decisions.
Kind of to wrap things up, when we talk about what's going on currently, from a court standpoint, a lot of people think, well, they're only fooling with the county, meaning nothing.
They're just fixing roads, that's it.
Nothing in the city limits, which isn't true, because several districts, magistrates have, portions of Glasgow
Right, part of
city
my district
limits.
comes from about 68 and 80 over to Lexington Drive.
Right.
So.
So there's a chunk of the city involved in there too, which means that there's got to be some work hand in hand with the court and Glasgow's city council. Same difference, when we talk about those northern parts of the county, which I understand might not necessarily be in, so-and-so's district, might be in another's. But my point is that there are some things going on in the city too that we focus on, with the city being sort of the hub for the county, Glasgow specifically being the hub for Barren County. We have to pay attention to smaller things sometimes. I hear that a lot in just day-to-day talking to people. So what do you feel like are some of those smaller things that could be done to lend to a bigger return? We focus on industry so much. That's big stuff. It takes a lot of work to get a factory to build here and all of that. But what about smaller projects, engagement?
First of all,
recreation?
there's a lot built into what you're talking about there, because, my wife went to Glasgow High School. I went to Barren County.
Right.
So I'm a tractor pulling Trojan, and she's a snotty Scotty. And that's the community we live in. And but there's a lot of work that we need to do together. Stop looking at each other that way and actually figure out how we can do this together. Glasgow is our hub. You're absolutely right. We need to find ways as Barren County to work with Glasgow on the things that the community as a whole wants to do. I hesitate to come in and say we need to do X, Y, and Z because I want to know what the community wants. I've built a Facebook page called, what's a group? It's Magistrate, Barren County Magistrate Robertson. And I would love for that thing to be full of people that tell me what they don't want and tell me what they do want. I feel like we lack that. I don't know why. I feel like more of that voice needs to be heard from the county to the magistrates and filtered through what our community wants our community to be. I mean, I hear a lot of complaining. Everybody here's complaining. That's all it is. So those complainers need to kind of put their complaints into words that we can attack whatever it is they want. If there's a desire, we need to chase. So
Right.
the things in Glasgow that need to happen on a small level, we need more community. I mean, we just need more, especially coming through a pandemic. We've all been separated. We've all been in our homes, or all our industries are separated from each other. We need ways to come together and work together to just become a community again.
If you had 30 seconds to maybe put in a nutshell what your campaign is about or who you are and why people should vote for you in the May primary, what would you say?
The two things I would like to see is things that are building industry that are for our community and things that build our children. And specifically, I'm a foster parent. I would like to see more things that support children and support children in foster care and that sort of thing. Children that are less advantaged. So,
Right.
and listening. That's my key thing. I want to hear what Barren County has to say.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in today, Dr. Troy Robertson, the Magistrate District 5 candidate running on the Republican ticket. So we wish you the best of luck. And again, we thank you for participating. And again, best of luck.
Thank you, Brennan.